One of the most talked about topics in the Naruto Boruto fandom is who is the strongest Hokage. While the answer may be simple by this point in the franchise, with most people logically and correctly picking Naruto as the strongest, I still wanted to provide my take with a unique perspective. For this video, I'll have unique specifications for ranking all the Hokage. I'll get into those before we start the ranking. If you're excited about the video, show that excitement by leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, as well as turning on all notifications so that you never miss another Naruto Boruto video. And with that all said, let's get into the ranking. Each Hokage will be ranked at their peak/prime. This will allow me to combine some versions of the character and merge them into a complete composite version of that specific character. This includes Edo feats and living feats. I'm only going to be covering their greatest strength feats and durability feats, with the exception of 2 of the Hokage, as those feats will be the most relevant to form a composite version of that character. The other separate feats matter, but strength and durability are the most relevant for me to look at here. Some honorable mentions include the unofficial Hokage and Shadow Hokage. Sasuke Uchiha would go here if we had included Shadow Hokages. Danzo would be in the 8th spot, and Shikamaru would be in the 9th spot if we were including temporary Kage that were never officially given the position. Starting at number 7, the weakest Hokage in their prime form is Tsunade. Now, I don't think this is too much of a controversial take when it comes to her best feats. None of them compared to her successors or predecessors. Her notable strength feats consist of being able to break a concrete wall effortlessly, rupturing the ground with one finger, shattering the ground and a building with a drop kick, and sending Madara flying with a kick, and is then later confirmed by a much stronger Madara to be stronger than the Raikage. Her Heaven Spear kick with chakra enhanced strength allowed her to shatter Madara's Susanoo ribcage, and she was able to temporarily kill a weakened reanimated Madara once, and also smashed a full body Susanoo, even though I'm pretty sure it was one used by one of Madara's wood clones. Her most notable durability feats include being able to live for a while despite being cut in half and surviving being impaled by Madara Susanoo, which even impressed Madara himself, and the other 4 Kage. If we're using a composite version of Tsunade, which would be her 4th Great Ninja War counterpart, since this is where we see her best feats, also each Hokage is being ranked based on a composite version, as mentioned before, of themselves for this specific video as laid out in the beginning. She still wouldn't stack up to the 2nd weakest Hokage with their composite self, even with her greatest asset being the 100 healings jutsu. So Tsunade is going to land at the bottom for me. She's impressive for the level that she's at, but compared to the other Hokage using their composite selves, she's extremely inferior and heavily outclassed. At the number 6 spot, I'm going to place Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage here. In my opinion, he's the 2nd weakest Hokage in their prime form. He's also the hardest Hokage to rank because he hasn't shown any physical strength feats in the anime or manga at all. So when it comes down to talking about him and only for him, I'm going to substitute strength feats for destructive power instead, since it's the only measure of strength we can judge him by. Having established that some of Hiruzen's best destructive feats include destroying Hashirama's wood release by summoning Monkey King Enma, and canceling out Tobirama's water release jutsu with his fire release jutsu. He also went toe-to-toe with Tobi's Shinsu Senju as an Edo in the 4th Great Ninja War. He destroyed the Shinju's branches when Tobirama couldn't, and then continued to destroy more of those same branches. The most impressive of these feats was the fact that he led the charge and helped destroy Tobi's Shinshu Senju alongside Orochimaru, if I remember correctly. This was a foe/object that none of the current 5 Kage at the time could even beat, as Tsunade, Mei, Onoki, and A were all outmatched and couldn't do anything. When it comes to his durability, Hiruzen at 70 years old was still able to make 2 shadow clones, took a beating from a weakened, reanimated Hashirama and Tobirama while performing the Reaper Death Seal, and being under Genjutsu, he withstood being impaled by the sword Kusanagi, and while being fatigued, he still charged at and kept up with and grabbed Orochimaru for the Reaper Death Seal. So by that on-page, on-screen assessment, even Edo Hiruzen surpasses Tsunade in my opinion at her most powerful, which was during the war arc. Hiruzen is very close power-wise to the number 5 spot, but in my opinion is just a little bit weaker. If you wanted to switch the 2, I wouldn't argue with you, nor would I be mad. This is just where I think a composite version of Hiruzen would go respectively. the number 5 spot, we have Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage, one of the fastest ninja of all time in his verse, and one of the most powerful ninjas of all time in his verse as well. In this section, I'm going to be discussing his speed in combination with his strength because I think the two go hand in hand, especially for this spot and the number 4 spot in particular. When it comes to Tobirama's strength feats, we only have his Edo version to go off of because we don't see much in the way of relevant feats while he was living in the flashbacks to the Warring States period. His greatest strength feats include kicking living old Hiruzen and his heavy staff several meters away, alongside reanimated Hashirama, casually cracking a wall with the palm of his hand and killing Izuna Uchiha, who was said to be on par with teenage Mangekyo Sharingan Madara Uchiha, his older brother, with the flying Raijin Slice, a move that is shown to be fast enough for the Sharingan to not have time to react. He was also able to battle Madara for a day straight alongside his brother Hashirama and the rest of his clan. He told Orochimaru that he could have broken out of his Edo Tensei all by himself if it weren't for Orochimaru having Hashirama cells, which increased the binding power, and he only seemingly lost to a revived Madara because the Edo Tensei nerfed both him and Hashirama, so they weren't at the same level of power they possessed when they were alive, and was single-handedly going to kill Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke, revived Orochimaru, and the other members of Taka minus Karin with his finger before Hashirama stopped him. We don't have any relevant durability feats to go off of because most of them come from his War Art Edo counterpart, so in this instance I'm not going to count them when Edo Tensei have unlimited regeneration capabilities outside of being hit by objects such as Truth Seeker orbs. That being said, Tobirama is still extremely strong, and in combination with his living self to create a definitive composite version, he's stronger than Hiruzen and Tsunade combined, and the only reason he's this low is because the composite version of the characters above him are so ridiculously busted it's absurd. In the number 4 spot, we have Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, the Leaf's Yellow Flash, the second fastest ninja of all time behind his son, and one of the most powerful shinobi in the history of the Naruto verse. Like Tobirama, I'm going to combine his speed with his strength because they both go hand in hand when it comes to his strength feats. When it comes to Minato's strength feats, while he was alive, he was able to slice through one of the 8 Tails tentacles and crater the ground with just a kunai. He was able to hold back Kurama's arm with the help of Kushina with his flying Raijin while maximizing his speed along with the strength of his Rasengan. He was able to hit Masked Man Obito hard enough to crater the ground and destroy his Hashirama cell arm. This same Obito was able to summon and control the 9 Tails, and he was only 14 at the time. As an Edo Tensei, he was strong enough to teleport Biju bombs from the 10 Tails far distances. These bombs are powerful enough to create nuke-sized explosions, by the way, and while in KCM, which significantly boosts his already busted base stats, he was strong enough to slice through Obito just before he became the 10 Tails Jinchuriki. He also has access to Sage mode and is a perfect Sage, and in this form, after getting his other arm sliced off by 6 Paths Madara, his sliced off arm with a full nature enhanced Rasengan charge was strong enough to completely injure Kakashi and crater the ground despite barely hitting him. Also, as a teenager, he was able to match Kurama's tailed Beast Bomb with his own Rasengan after he just formed the jutsu for the first time in Kushina's mindscape while trying to save her from Kurama's influence, and was then told by Kurama to be on par with the first Hokage Hashirama in terms of his power as a teenager. Now, this could be misinterpreted as Kurama saying that he's good with sealing techniques, though I would like to say it's a mix of both, him praising his sealing prowess along with his power. Minato's durability feats include surviving for several minutes after using the Reaper Death Seal and getting impaled through the chest and still having enough strength left to summon. While missing an arm as an Edo, he only needed one hand to do hand signs for the rest of the 4th Great Ninja War. He was also able to stay in KCM after losing an arm that wouldn't regenerate and recovered quickly after getting kicked into Gaara hard enough to crater the ground by 6 Paths Madara. Also, let's not forget that during the 3rd Great Ninja War, this man had a flee on sight order from every village involved in the war that wasn't the Hidden Leaf. That is absolutely crazy. So yeah, Minato rightfully deserves this spot, and I don't think you can make a strong argument against this placement. In the number 3 spot, we have Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, the god of shinobi, and the previous holder of the most powerful ninja of all time before being dethroned by Naruto and Sasuke. Hashirama's greatest strength feats include breaking free of Orochimaru's Edo Tensei, something Tobirama couldn't do, and he has the ability to completely control all of the tailed beasts through forcibly suppressing their chakra with his Hokage style Kakuon, entering society with bliss bringing hands technique. He eventually gained control of all 9 of them and divided them amongst the 5 nations to broker peace. He was shown to be strong enough on his own to change the trajectory of a tailed beast ball. He has Sage mode and is the only person to naturally have wood release, and his battle with Madara literally left a scar on the planet, which came to be known as the Valley of the End, and he was stated by several characters to be the only person able to defeat Madara, and his power surpasses that of every Hokage, every Kage in general in existence minus Naruto and Sasuke, if we're gonna count Shadow Kage, which we aren't. He has all his techniques with wood release, which are some of the most powerful techniques in the series. He also battled Madara while he completely possessed Kurama and had his perfect Susanoo cloaked around him. I don't really need to explain this placement much. I mean, the dude's medical ninjutsu was so potent that he could literally heal himself with 0 hand signs or jutsu of any injury. A feat that had to have an entirely new jutsu be made by Tsunade to be replicated, and barely at that. I mean, it's Hashirama, he deserves this spot, and like Minato, there is no argument to be made to suggest otherwise. At the number 2 spot, we have Kakashi Hatake, the 6th Hokage, and the copy ninja. Now, just to be transparent, if this ranking was not based on me making a composite version of each of the Hokage, he would be at the bottom below Tsunade. But since we are talking about composite versions of each Hokage, Kakashi is absolutely the 2nd most powerful Hokage of all time for 2 reasons. Him possessing 6 paths chakra and dual Kamui, probably the most broken visual jutsu in the entire franchise, even in the Boruto era. He also happens to have a perfect Susanoo in this state as well. His greatest strength feats include fighting and beating War Arc pre-Jinchuriki Obito in the Kamui dimension and winning that fight, which is impressive because Obito had both his Sharingan and Nagato's Rinnegan, and this same Obito is giving KCM2 Naruto a very hard time. He completely warped away a large portion of Kaguya's shoulder with a Kamui lightning blade on contact. He destroyed 4 of Kaguya's chakra arms with multiple Kamui powered chakra shuriken thrown by his perfect Susanoo, and these can warp away any target to the Kamui dimension upon contact. And Kakashi Retsuden, during his time as the 6th Hokage after he lost his dual Mangekyo Sharingan, he trained and maxed out his strength, speed, and agility, and even created a new jutsu to substitute the ones he could no longer use without the Sharingan, like Purple Lightning. It is also blatantly stated in that novel that he is stronger than his War Arc counterpart, the same counterpart that fought both Obito and Madara, and that his Hokage self is only surpassed by his DMS counterpart. Kakashi also has perfect control over the Purple Lightning after maximizing his stats. Even Onoki was shocked due to the jutsu's potent power, a power that was strong enough to generate an entire thunderstorm. He can also use this to electrocute people omnidirectionally. He also has his fire style water mist jutsu where he takes the form of a bird and becomes powerful enough to stop 6 paths level attacks, which is nuts, such as 6 paths water style attacks. He is also blatantly shown in Kakashi Retsuden to have better chakra control and more chakra while being Hokage, as he can physically resist lightning despite being an earth style user, which is just crazy. He also is blatantly faster than the 4th Raikage, as shown in Kakashi Retsuden when A got blitzed by the main antagonist Kaio and had his lariat dodged completely. Kakashi was shown to be relative if not greater speed wise compared to Kaio. So yeah, DMS Kakashi at the time was arguably the most powerful or 2nd most powerful Naruto character period, but using a composite version of himself which would combine his DMS and Hokage counterparts, he should be without question on par if not equal to Hokage Naruto and adult Sasuke, and would be considered equal to them as the 3 most powerful shinobi of all time, as his dual Kamui would be the most powerful jutsu out of the 3 of their arsenals outside of Baryon mode. Finally, to end things off at the number 1 spot, we have Naruto Uzumaki, the 7th Hokage, widely regarded universally as the most powerful shinobi of all time. I can sit here for hours and name all the ridiculous feats of post-War Arc Naruto, including his feats from the last, his feats from the Boruto era while using his 6-path Sage mode with KCM stacked, and how he was completely undefeated in combat up until his fight with Jigen alongside Sasuke, where they both got dogged out. And then their subsequent battle with the franchise's most powerful villain at the time, Jura and future Kawaki may be more powerful, but we'll see, Ishiki Otsutsuki, where they got absolutely stomped out and dominated. But only one thing needs to be mentioned that automatically grants him the number 1 spot without any counter arguments or debates to be had: Baryon mode. A form so powerful that it had adult Sasuke, the 2nd most powerful ninja of all time, completely dumbfounded. With this form alone, he completely dog walks every other Kage on this list, with composite Kakashi having a strong argument to compete against him for at least a little while. In this form, he completely bullied and clocked Ishiki and grabbed his chakra rods out of thin air without even looking, a feat that has yet to be surpassed by any other character in the franchise. Mind you, Sasuke verbally admitted to barely being able to track them with his Sharingan, and even Ishiki himself was shocked as he couldn't fathom how Naruto powered up that much and that quickly. Boruto's feat doing this was very different, as current Kawaki is significantly weaker than Ishiki is due to Amado placing limiters on him just like he did with Code, and he uses the rods very differently than how Ishiki used them. Naruto was dominating that fight so much that Sasuke literally couldn't even believe it with his own eyes and stated indirectly that Naruto at this point was blatantly superior to Ishiki. Also, just to note before we reach the end, Naruto's punches held so much power that it literally shortened the lifespan of Ishiki from 20 hours to 10 minutes. Yeah, there's no debate. Naruto is cracked beyond belief, and his composite version surpasses everyone else here. No arguments to be had here about that. So yeah, anyway, that's it from me. If you agree with the placements, cool. If you disagree with the placements, let me know yours in the comments down below. Make sure to follow all of my socials in the pinned comment and description below. And make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications, as well as set them to all so that you never miss a future video. I'm MOTTSKIII, and I'm out. Peace.